If you want to trade bull credit spreads, a combination option strategy, this video will give you everything you need to know about how to do so, what targets to set, and how to do it with a live example showing you step by step how to execute. First off, you need to understand that options trading is made up of both calls and puts. And inside the options world, there's things called combination trades. And all this means that you're taking one of these two options, calls or puts, putting them together, and you can build out a combination such as a bull put credit spread where you actually get paid cash up front to enter into a trade. Now, a bull put spread works the best when there is an expected rise coming in the underlying asset or stock. And basically, the investor just puts on a trade by selling a put option right there at a higher strike price and then buying a call option at a lower strike price, which you're going to see in an example in a couple minutes here. The key characteristics to remember: it is a limited profit scenario, a limited risk scenario, and a net credit that is paid to the investor or trader is received upfront. So why use a bull put credit spread? Well, first off, you can generate income by selling those option contracts and get paid on a weekly or monthly expiration date. You can also do this through a smaller account size because the risk is limited and is known upfront. You don't have to buy 100 shares of stock. You don't have to have a lot of capital in your account. This is a great trading strategy for a smaller account trade of under $5,000 or less. You can also capture volatility. So when there is fear in the market, you are able to get more cash and more premium paid to you in these selling of these bull put credit spreads. You can also limit your risk by selling these credit spreads, and you understand how much loss potential there is going into each trade up front. And when you have a market outlook that looks moderately bullish to neutral, it is a great time to understand and how to weaponize this trading strategy to make you a little bit more increased premium when there's an expected move that you understand where it's going. There is also a set target that you want to have for one of the Greeks known as delta. And delta, very simply, it just gives you the snapshot or likelihood of where this trade is going to be profitable or not at the current time when you put it on. We're going to show you this example as well in the live walkthrough in a moment. But you want to understand the delta, and you want to understand why it's important, because if you have a lower delta, it leads to a lower amount of risk for taking on the trade. This guides your risk parameter when you're looking to make a bull put options trade. And you have a target right there of anywhere from 0.2 to 0.3 for beginners, I would say. That'll keep you in a pretty high probability range of winning the trade and still being profitable, and ultimately not having the stock price go below the short put strike price for your trade. We also want to look at the implied volatility and a target for that in your trading. You can look at IV and say it is the future of potential stock movement. So it's kind of a future predictive kind of metric that is baked into every option contract pricing. And when IV is low, it means that there's not a large expected stock price movement in the future, and the options prices will reflect that all the puts, all the calls will be a little bit cheaper. When there is a high IV or high potential movement for a stock price, the prices of those option contracts are going to be more inflated, and there's more potential for things to move around, so there's a higher price associated with those contracts. IV should be looked at based on the IV now for the future and the historical patterns to understand where this stock is currently, if it's elevated or not, and that could be a good way to identify. Now let's put it all together with an example inside Interactive Brokers Trader Workstation. So first up, with a bull put spread, you need to pick the company you want to trade on. And they're going to take Tesla right now. We're going to get into the specifics of why in a second, but just to basically do this trade, bare bones, very quick, click your price in here, click on the options chain, whichever expiration date you want to pick. I'm going to go November 3rd. I'll tell you why in a second, but I want to go in here, put my strategy builder on, or if you don't have a strategy builder in your trading platform, you want to select the strike price in here. 230 is going to be ours. We're going to go ahead and sell that leg. And you want to go ahead and buy a same put right there that is a little bit lower in terms of the strike price, a little bit lower. We're going to go to 225. And that's going to build in your bull put area, meaning I'm going to get paid $1.30 per trade or per contract made of 100 shares. So $130 to sell this bull put spread. What this means is that if Tesla's price stays above 230, it's currently trading at 250 over the next 32 days, I walk away with $130 of cash and nothing else happens. If it drops below 225, I can look at my max loss by taking this advanced tab right here, going in margin performance and saying, hey, what's my max loss? It's 368. So I'm in this trade for a maximum loss of $368. My max profit is 130. You might say, well, that's not a good relationship in terms of your profit and your loss potential. But when you factor in the profit probability of winning this trade 72% of the time, it makes it a little bit easier to digest those kind of odds and understand that you have a better chance of winning this trade than losing. So you're okay taking on a little bit less of a return compared to the max loss. And that's how you put the trade on and have it go into the hopper down here in the orders tab. It'll eventually get filled. If you have to change limit price a little bit, you can do that too. Get it filled and update that, and it'll go through the hopper and get added to your account. Now the good stuff. Now you want to know, why are we picking different strike prices? Why are we picking different deltas? Where we're going to do to govern this? Let's get into the delta first and understand what this means. So we're going to keep the first 32 days out here. That's going to be the same. We're going to keep that. Generally, I like to do that just because it gives you the best bang for your buck with theta decay, which is a little bit of a side kind of hustle. I've got some other videos about theta. Check one of them out right here to understand what theta is. But we want to look at theta and then more specifically delta. When I'm looking down here at delta, it's telling me one really important thing. It's telling me that at this moment in time, if I was to sell this put at 225 right here, okay, this is half of our option strategy. If I wanted to sell this put 225, I'm going to have a 22% chance of the stock price going below 225 by our expiration date. Now, is that a good potential layer of buffer? That's a very good question. What we can do to do this and make it even more interesting and more kind of in our favor, we can look at what's known as the standard deviations and see if it's likely for 225 to get hit. If it is, and we're not comfortable with this 22% chance of having the stock price go below that, we can go a little bit further out. But first, let's look at the chart, open this up and say, hey, we want to add on one thing. We want to go into the studies area and add on a moving average known as a Bollinger Band. We add those on to our chart. You want to make sure that it's 20 and 2 are the periods. And we want to go ahead and just click OK. And what this is saying now, the Bollinger Bands are on there and standard deviations work like this. Anything below this gray, this brown line, there's a 5% chance of the stock price going underneath that. You can see here, it's not very likely, or in the past few days, few months even, we're going back all the way to April of 2023. The stock price has only really gone outside this line one time there. It approached it right there. And on the top side, same thing. It only goes above this purple line 5% of the time. You can see that it hasn't done that in the past, let's call it 6-7 months. So 95% of the time, it's going to be inside these areas, which gives you a really good likelihood, or a less than like a 5% chance at that 230 level currently of the stock price ripping below that. And obviously, random events do happen. This kind of a drop right here was probably an earnings announcement where it does decline severely, but it still didn't break below this Bollinger Band down here. The bands move, obviously, but that gives you kind of a benchmark for to look for. So if I go down to the 225 area, that's where that Bollinger Band is. So I can look on my option chain and say, okay, 225, that's outside the standard deviations as well. So I'm comfortable with that area. That is my place to put the short put or sell that put, 225. Then what I'm looking for is the call side. And the call side really just tells you how much profit you're going to lock in or how much potential risk you're going to have. If I was to pick the 220 strike right there for the other side of this trade and go like that, I can see that I have now a credit of $1 or $100 in potential profit. If I go to the advanced tab, I can open the margin tab and I can go and say, hey, I want to see the performance profile. And I have a $398 potential loss, 77% chance to win this trade. If I go back and change this now, and I change this from a 220 to, let's say, in here, I'm going to go to a 215. I widen my spread a bit. So my max loss is going to go up. My potential credit doubled to 200, but my max loss is going to go up from 398 up to 795. So I get double the premium. I take on a little bit more potential max loss, and my profit probability is around the same at 78%, 77%. So that's what the changing of the buying side does when you're looking at bull put spreads. I like to target this area around 25, 30 at the most in terms of where I put my strike price for the put that I'm going to sell or the short put. That gives me a pretty safe range or a pretty safe target that usually falls outside of these Bollinger Bands. And I get pretty comfortable saying, hey, it's not likely this is going to happen because there's a 5% chance it's going to be outside these two bands. So even down here, if it does hit that, I'm okay taking on that position. I can always change this trade up when I go to do it later on. I'm going to just drag this up and make it right there. I would then go ahead and just submit my order if I want to do that. But we also want to make sure that we're getting paid enough in terms of volatility. So what we want to do is look at a couple of things. I'm just going to cancel these down here. so that I can look at it fresh. And what we want to do, even before we get to our stock, we want to understand that volatility is important to look at. There's a couple ways to look at where the volatility is now to see if it is inflated or not. So to check out the implied volatility of a stock, I have a couple columns inside my Interactive Brokers trading platform that I like to use. It's called historical volatility close percentage and the closing implied volatility percentage. And what these two things do, this gives you the historical volatility of any stock or any kind of index fund ETF in here. And it gives you the kind of previous kind of historical volatility. So how much volatility normally is. And this closing one of the implied shows you what volatility currently is. Meaning, if this number here in this column closing is above the one in historical, it means there's an elevated level of volatility. And the greater that kind of number, the greater this spread is, the more elevated it is compared to historical pattern, which is a good thing when you want to look at different kinds of IV impacting options pricing. And here it means you're getting paid more when you're selling off these contracts. Now you can check it through there. You can check it through another thing called the IV ranks. The IV ranks do the exact same thing. They rank the volatility for the past 52 weeks. And these are ranked from 1 to 100, 1 being the lowest, 100 being the highest potential out of the weekly IV ranks. So the implied volatility moving forward will be shown here. The IV percentage as well shows you implied volatility for the 52 weeks in a percentile, showing you the highest numbers here. This 92 would be the highest one right there. Looking at, that's TELUS right there. That's AT&T right there. It has a high volatility right now based at 92%. And look at Tesla, it's right around that 33% area, not terribly high, but it is a little bit more inflated than normal. Sometimes this gets up to 60, 70%. We can also look at one other tool in here. Looking at it, you can go into the new window and you can look at Volatility Lab. This is a pretty cool tool. Come in here. And this isn't something you have to do. It's just something that I like to do when I'm looking for volatility trends. What you want to do here on this chat, I'm going to explain this chart for you. It's going to go down. You can change the little tickers right there. Let's keep it with Tesla though for now. What I want to do is go over here to 2 months and show the 1 year. And what I want to do is click on this little gear icon and also look at the mode from implied volatility and change it to historical. And it's going to plot for me an orange line, which is the historical volatility. And you're going to see an IV, which is the implied volatility. So when the implied volatility, this white line right here, let's pop this out so you can see a little bit better. When this white line goes and diverges from the historical, normally this means there is more premium to be made as a seller, and as a seller of a bull put spread, this is a good thing. You can see right there, it'll squeeze back, and it's kind of like an elastic band where it kind of gets pulled apart a little bit and then it kind of snaps back together. Like if you have an elastic band going like this, stretch to stretch, eventually it has to snap back down together, and it'll sometimes invert like this, but the same thing happens. It kind of snaps apart and then rolls back together. You can see right here where we're currently at, there is an elevated potential for this IV, which means to me this is a good time to potentially be selling these bull put spreads on Tesla because the IV is inflated. Looking at the Volatility Lab helps you kind of identify this and gives you different kind of peaks and times. You can look back at historical patterns. You can go back in time and do custom kind of trends, see where it's at relative to the historical volatility, and put that trend to work in your favor. The other super quick thing you can do if you want to go through, just do it super easy. Go to October 6th, look at the IV right there, 50%. Next week, 48%, so it's going down. A little bit less, 6%, there's a jump right there. The higher that number is on the expiration dates, 54, 53, okay, 51. The higher this number IV, it's going to show you generally what the IV is for that stock. If it's inflated or if you're paying attention to these numbers, it's going to go up and down and ebb and flow. When there's events like earnings or different kind of big monetary policy reviews or different kind of things like maybe an investor day, this number will be inflated. We can see the biggest one that we had is October 13th or the 18th. So generally, I think this is going to be an earnings week for Tesla based on the inflated number of IV. It should be going up as you go further out in time. 50 should be going up to 51. It doesn't, it goes down and then it jumps to 56. It should be going up to 57. It goes down, right? It keeps going down, which means that that week right there of the October 20th, there's some event that week that is giving more volatility into Tesla and popping this IV number higher. So that's a quick way you can check for it as well. But what I like to do, again, is target the areas where there is the most volatility and just give yourself a buffer, understanding that when there's higher volatility like this, on this week, there's a higher potential for the stock price to move. And so I'm going to use my volatility. I'm going to use my delta to kind of pinpoint the area I want to work to, and my Bollinger Bands in here to see where I want to sell this bear put spread. So let's look at 228. 228, we don't have that, so we're going to go down to 225 again. I'm going to say, okay, strategy builder, turn it up, 225. We're going to put it on there. We're looking at 18 days because that's the most volatility right there, 56%. And I'm going to keep it at the 220 area for the put that I'm going to buy or go long on. We're going to do that. We're going to populate our trade right there and take on that $84 credit. Open up this advanced tab one more time. Margin performance, looking at the potential profit and loss. 82% chance of winning this trade. I will take that. Max return $85. Okay. Max loss 414. Okay. I'm okay with that. I'll take an 82% win rate. Right now, it's currently today. That's not 82% guaranteed for the whole trade. If the trade does kind of move and flow as the market moves and flow, this could change. This number will change, but your max return is not going to change, and your max loss isn't going to change. Those are static. Those are locked in place from the trade once it starts. You can see that your account will be going up post-trade, which is what you want to see for a credit. You would then click transmit. That would get the trade in the hopper. If you wanted to go limit order, you could also go market order, get that trade filled right away, update that. It'll go in your account. And that is bull put trading 101, in depth, everything to know about setting your accounts, setting your trades, understanding where to be in terms of the strike price, IV, delta, everything you need to know. Hope you got some value to that one. If you did, leave a comment about what you like. I would love to hear back from you, and I'll catch you on the next trading video.